on our way to Cold Saturday Farm for the second time.
So what you've got notes what we're going to do today?
I've got some Cold Saturday Farm notes. So this is our second trip. Last time we went a couple months ago. We went in February. And it was a cold freaking Saturday.
It was. Raining and sleeting and snowing.
Man, we were really cold. There was one point we were riding on the golf cart. I was just like, oh my God, my face.
He's checking with me because I'm out under, I'm not even under the, I'm like, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah, you were on the back of the golf cart.
At least I was wearing my, my red puffy.
So I know a dude, Ray, and he lives on this farm. He doesn't own the farm, he rents the cabin on the farm that we saw. So he gave us the whole tour last time. It was awesome. We saw a lot. But I feel like we're going to be able to slow down a little bit today and take it in a little bit more. This farm is actually older than the United States. 1765 is when it was built. Finksburg, Maryland. Finksburg. It's in Carroll County, Maryland. It's 50 acres now, and they have like events, they have weddings. I would imagine they're going to be getting into wedding season pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
In the 1880s, there was a big dairy boom in the area, and it was one of the most significant major dairy farms with 63 milking cows producing 36,000 gallons of milk a year.
Wow.
In 1880.
Wow.
The historic log cabin was relocated to Cold Saturday and repurposed as a swimming and skating house. That's what the cabin that Ray lives in.
Swimming and skating house. That makes sense.
All the way up in the 1990s, the whole farm was just like, was neglected, it was run down. That main house, the main big, beautiful federal style house, was filled with hay. They bought it and they completely restored it. In 2008, it was designated on the National Register of Historic Places, which is pretty cool. We are live from Cold Saturday Farm. This is a very special episode. We haven't quite done anything like this yet.
I think this is our first on location.
On location. Cool. And it doesn't get any more on location than this.
Yeah.
No, it does not. This is beautiful.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Great weather, you know?
Well, this is going to have to be a long podcast because I don't know how we're going to make it back to the car with all the equipment.
I know, right?
We've got plenty to talk about. This place has been around. Well, you were telling me on the car ride here, it's been around before America.
Yep, yeah. Older than America.
Yeah.
So what was the founding year, Ray?
So the stone house behind the cabin is the oldest house on the property. It was here before the main mansion.
Yeah.
So that was built in 1766. So this stone house has been here before that.
Do you have any idea what year?
It's according to somewhat documents, you're thinking about mid 1700s.
That's awesome.
But before we really dig deep into Cold Saturday, I feel like we should introduce Ray.
Yeah, let's not skip that. That's a good idea.
It's Ray. How you doing?
Sorry, I was distracted by this gnat. No, I've been here 10 years. Moved here rented here 2014. Lived in all the houses, and this is the last, probably almost the best because of the scenery and the wildlife. And
but where do you hail from? Where did you start life?
Upstate New York. Actually, I'm originally from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And then when I was about 2 years old, we moved to Upstate New York, right outside Syracuse, Liverpool.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I took off to Rochester when I was mid-20s and worked my way down here.
Cool.
Lived in Virginia for a while, kind of bebopping around through one of my jobs that I was working. I moved around with them.
What were you doing?
Selling seafood. the other W. Wegmans.
Okay.
Yeah. So they brought me down here. I opened up one of the stores in Virginia, and they actually brought me to this farm. And then, like I said, I've been here ever since.
That's cool.
So you started working for Wegmans, Upstate New York?
Yeah.
Because that's where they're based, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Then they were opening their first store down in Northern Virginia, and they sent everybody down to help out, and I never went home. Lived in a hotel for like 2 months.
You liked it so much you had to stay.
Yeah, well, the weather, man. Upstate New York weather.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Take this winter that we had 4 weeks of or 3 weeks of and go by 4 months.
Yeah.
So
I'm from Chicago, so
you understand.
I understand.
Yeah.
When you walk out your front door and your pants freeze.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was. They opened in February and it was like -9 up there. I actually lived in the hotel, like I said, 2 months. Went up, packed it, came down, and I stayed down in the Mid-Atlantic, past the Mason-Dixon line since 2003.
You probably can't feel it over there, but Ray and I are getting a good miss.
Are you?
Yeah, we are. Just a little. It's not too bad.
It's like being at Niagara Falls.
It's like, no, hey, you guys are outside. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Well, I'm good. I'm glad we didn't set up on the dock.
Yeah, that would not have worked today.
That would have been bad. I didn't expect this. It was supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I was telling him on the way up here. I'm like, hey, it says it's not going to rain again until 6. It ain't 6. Nope.
Yeah.
So upstate New York, is that where you kind of, daily when I talk to you, you're telling me stories about nature and outside and stuff. Is that a lot of that going on upstate New York? Is that where you kind of found your passion for that kind of thing?
No, actually, I kind of did some hiking and stuff when I was a kid. I was more of a jock, gym rat jock kind of then. But once I got, I lived in this little place in Woodstock, and they were hikers, and we were next to the woods, and I started walking in the woods. A guy gave me 2 sticks in a backpack, and I was gone. So then it brought out my passion.
You loved it, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's nothing like being in the woods, man. It just kind of clears your mind and recharges you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I always did photography. So then I got back into photography. And
what was your first camera for doing photography?
Actually, I still have it, Nikon EM.
Yeah?
Yeah, I still have the thing. I don't know if it takes pictures, but I still have it. So yeah. Then like I said, I got into the phone thing, and then bought a Rebel, and then upgraded to the 90D. So usually when I'm hiking, I'll have that on me with my phone, and
How do you feel like digital versus film photography.
Wow, shoot! Nowadays, I'll take digital all day
Yeah.
because you could just hook up to an app, download it to your phone, and then you could do whatever you want with. You don't have to wait.
Totally.
So, yeah, and especially the new processors on there, you could get those nice clear-eyed shots, or camera basically nowadays does all the work for you.
There's something different about it though, because it's like when you got to roll of 24 pictures, you got to be picky, selective about what you're taking a picture of. And with the digital camera, you rattle off 100 pictures in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you got all this to look through.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of approach to photography, I feel like.
It's a different art.
Have you tried burst pictures with your digital on any of these birds?
No.
Or it takes like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, there's a burst mode where you can get like 15 pictures in a couple of seconds.
Oh, that's cool.
So that you can get little movements, little things, but it's all photo quality instead of video quality.
Right.
It's a higher res. At least I think it is. I don't know. It might not be anymore.
Well, you had to, with a film camera, I mean, you had to pay attention to film speeds and apertures.
You had to adjust all that.
Yeah.
And they didn't have that fine-tuned dial-up like you do with the DSLRs, because you can just hit that button and it'll automatically zoom in and get that tight, where we had back in the day kind of manually try to look for that clear spot.
Yeah.
So you've been doing this a while with the pictures.
Yeah, off and on. I took some classes in school, but then I got into radio for a while, then cooking is always
That's where I can hear it in the voice. Got a radio voice.
Yeah, I was a night guy on Saturdays. I do the weather and the lotto numbers.
For like a real commercial radio station?
Yeah, WHN.
Nice.
Yeah, I did it for a year. Me and my buddy, he was the one in going to school for it, and I would be there, and every once in a while he'd let me jump on and do today at WHN weather is forecast is rainy to blah blah blah, that winning numbers are, and he just whip out the whatever lotto numbers are. So and then we used to play a lot in the production room and back.
Yeah.
And we would do, that's a professional professional setup. Man, back then it was cassettes, and we would just
the carts.
Yeah,
that go
we
in,
would just make all these crazy things up on, use their little sound effects, and every once in a while we'd bring a few other people in and just like do these skits and all that stuff. So
Or you actually like have to cut and splice the tape with the
or we would just run it, or we would just run it long, you know what I mean, without editing, you just kind of just wing it. But yeah, it was fun.
I did radio in college myself. I always remember they were always, we could lose our license if you don't. You at the top of the hour, you got to give the station ID, station identification. So at the top of the hour, you have to say your call letters, and you have to say your spot on the dial. And if you don't, they used to have you freaked out. The FCC is going to fine us. So you'd have to be like, WCCC, live, 91.5,
right.
Boom. And, man, I love the radio.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of glad I didn't go into that as my career.
Yeah, I can understand why.
It's kind of a dying...
Well, podcast is killing the hell out of it. Although I have been seeing this skit where these guys have a call-in show.
Yeah.
I've been seeing it all over TikTok where they have, they're playing they're making stuff, and then they've got audio in the background that's completely unrelated to what they're making. So you've got something to watch, and they're talking about, we're going to give you another date. It's these date ones. It's pretty juicy stuff they're talking about.
I think I might have heard some of those.
Yeah, and I find myself listening to it. Like this one guy pretended he was somebody else on a dating app, and he got his ex involved with this other guy that he's not, just so that he could waste her time. He got her to drive for like 2 hours to go meet Jeremy, and he never showed up.
I mean, yeah, you can do a lot of phone foolery.
Yeah, there was one where they would call someone for a date, and then call the date. And then if it was a bad date, then have them explain. Like you'd be talking,
and
the person would be on the other line, and they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And they would talk about the date, and then the other person would jump in, male or female, and be like, "Oh no, that's not what happened." But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is women calling in, going, "Why do you never call back?" Does not
look-alike.
go well for the women understanding why they never get called back. Is like, you really wanted to know this? I don't think you really wanted to know this.
There's another one on TikTok where they call a guy and they're like, "Hey, we're a new flower shop, and just to get our name out there, we're giving a free dozen roses to anybody of your choice." And the guy's wife will be listening, and they won't know. The husband won't know the wife's on the line.
Oh my God.
And so there's no commitment or anything. All you have to do is tell me the name of the person you want me to send the flowers to. And
that does not sound like it goes well every time.
No.
And they're like, "We're testing a new feature. You can record a 20-second message to the person." So the guy will be like, "Jessica, these flowers are for you. They pale in comparison to your beauty." And then the wife will be on the line.
And
like,
she's named Amber.
"Yeah, who's Jessica?" You know what I mean? Like, it's good.
That's crazy.
But man, that's pretty cool. You're a radio guy, man.
Yeah.
How long did you do that?
I think 2 years. He did it longer than I did. Like I said, I would jump in there. It's about 2 years, off and on.
Yeah.
I was more digging in the back, in the production studio.
Yeah.
Because we used to do videos. Like, remember the old video cameras that were like size of a boombox? So we would make all these different videos and all that stuff, and then do these tapes. And for a little while, we were doing all these little production things. A lot of them no cuts. It was just straight.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
It was too complicated to cut.
Yeah, not like nowadays. You go to Snapseed or download an app and you change it all up 1, 2, 3, or you can even just edit it on your phone.
Yeah. What do you have any of your old recordings or any of your old videos?
They're not on VHS.
You got them still?
I'd have to dig them. Yeah, they're in my back there.
I can convert them for you.
All right, let me see if I can dig them out.
Yeah, I got a whole system. I can plug it into the laptop, and I got a VCR still.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
I think I still got one up in my closet.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to do like car chases and just kids stuff. We were kids back then, so we were just kind of messing around.
Yeah. It's like you have to digitize them, because otherwise, we're getting to the point where that stuff is going bad if it's 30, 40 years old.
Yeah.
A lot of people losing a lot of VHS out there.
Ancient times.
Heath found a whole bunch of his old, family 8mm movies.
Yeah. I need to get that stuff converted before it just falls apart. Plus, nobody's watched it in years.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to play it on.
Yeah.
So, I love the fact that we got lightning or thunder in the background.
Now I'll tell you, if the sun comes out, you're gonna guarantee a rainbow.
Oh man.
I guarantee 100%. Usually with something like this, with the way the heat is and the moisture is, it would usually sit right over there on that field.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone guarantee a rainbow.
I could possibly guarantee.
I'm impressed.
Can we get a double rainbow?
They've had them. We've had them.
Double rainbow.
We're all over here crying.
I hope the sun comes out. Come on, sun.
Yeah.
I want to see this
If that gets all dark,
rainbow.
if that gets all dark blue after this, because the sun's usually right over here, it'll hit it.
Cool.
So this amazing property that you live on, how did you end up finding this place?
My my store manager at Wegmans was going to buy it years ago. It was for sale. She turned it into a wedding venue. And I came here to help for a few weddings. And I was like, I was living up in Woodstock. And I was like, we were opening up the Owens Mill store. This is closer. And that Stonehouse just so happened to be open. So a little handshake with my landlord, and you cut the grass once in a while and help around the farm. I moved in.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a very
How long ago was that?
2014. I left for about a year and a half. Went up to New York. Decided it was too cold and came back.
What made you think to go back to New York where it's cold?
Oh, I was dating someone.
You
know how that is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
how that is.
I know how that is.
So it didn't work out, and I this to me, Maryland's got all the seasons. Compared to New York's got summer and winter, maybe a fall, but this has Indian summer, all the fall. What's the other autumn? It has all the so many.
It's much more temperate here.
Yeah, and the winters don't last that long.
Yeah. You'd be lucky if we get 3 months of summer in the Chicago area. It's not quite as bad as New York, but
Yeah.
or at least where you were at in New York.
So you're here for COVID?
No, I was upstate New York.
You were upstate for COVID. How was COVID for you? What did you do during COVID?
I was laid up, so it didn't matter to me.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had some medical stuff going on, so I just had to stay home. So didn't really.
So you weren't going anywhere anyway? I'm the same. I was out of work during COVID.
Yeah.
When COVID started, I had already been home for a year.
Did a lot of hike because where I lived up in upstate New York was in the Finger Lakes,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to talk about woods and gorges and way different hiking spots than here.
Mm-hmm.
Because like here you got the AT, you got I hike a lot down by Hyper's Ferry. I've hiked up in Western New York. I've been to West Virginia, to New River Gorge. New York totally different because all the a lot of the gorges were formed by icebergs.
Mm-hmm.
So as they melted, they formed these gorges, and your views were different, a little more technical here and there. It was just a different vibe. You know what I mean? It was cool, and it had a lot to do with Native American. The area I was, there was a spot where I was that I'm gonna bust into a story real quick.
Yeah.
This is really cool. So when I got there, I was looking for all the hiking areas, and where I lived was like anywhere from 10, 15, 20 minutes away from these places. So people come up to do this. I'm living there. So I looked for this place, and it was, according to the Native Americans of the tribes up in New York State, they had, I can't remember the name, so I don't want to get it wrong, but the main tribe said this is where creation has started, this one little gorge. And sometimes you would go there during their celebrations, and there'd be a little urn there with the incense in it for the gods and spirits and all that stuff. But yeah, according to the Native Americans up in there, that's where life started.
What do you think? Are they right?
Yeah, it was nice, man. I could see it happening. I could see it happening because it was waterfall, and you get up to the top, and there's, where it just plateaus and goes down, and that whole waterfall, that whole crest was where life started for them.
Cool.
Yeah, that was. Yeah,
That's pretty wild.
yeah. So like here was a lot of Civil War, and the War of 1812. There was a lot of more Native American stuff and beliefs, and like there was grounds, like there was a Canandaigua Lake. They do the Ring of Fire at Labor Day to celebrate one of the spirits or whatever, or the tribesmen from the tribe from that area, and that's kind of cool. And you can go up on top of the mountain, and it has a couple of different spots. It kind of gives you that little, you get a little goosebumps because of it's kind of like the burial ground.
It's just all.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
The energy. You can feel that kind of energy, right?
Oh yeah. So it was, like I said, it was a whole different vibe. So I would hike, just get out and walk around and check all this stuff out. So
there's still a lot of Native American people in that area?
Not per se, but there's a lot of their legacy is left over, and everything's documented. They have like the placards where you can read, and it tells you the whole story. I wish I would remember. I wish I would have thought about this because I would have had all more information on it. But it just tells you, why this is here. What's the name of this, and what happens, and different things that happen throughout the years.
Cool.
Yeah, it was definitely different.
How much time did you spend there?
2 summers. I came back in the fall, right before winter. So it was nice though. Definitely a farms were still there, and then in the spring, there was lilacs all in the mountains. So when it get warm, all through the valley, that's all you would smell. That was cool. That was driving through the mountains, and you just mountain roads and country roads, and it smells like lilacs and honeysuckle and all that. So
that sounds cool.
Yeah, that was definitely a nice area. Kind of miss it.
Yeah.
So.
I've been up that way a couple times. I mean, I've driven to Niagara Falls a few times, but
yeah.
I played hockey in Saratoga, I think it's called. Is there an area up there called Saratoga? Yeah. Near Syracuse. Good hockey up there.
Yeah.
And Lake Placid's up there too, right?
Yeah.
Is that where Lake Placid is?
Yeah, Lake Placid's up top.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Corner.
I think so.
Miracle on Ice.
Yeah.
1980 hockey team.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been a hockey fan, no.
But that was beyond hockey. That was USA beat the Russians, and it was kind of in the middle of like shit was really intense with the Cold War.
Yeah.
So like, all of America, I guess except you, watched this hockey game.
No, I think I remember that.
Yeah, it was a really big deal. Because the USA team was young guys. They were young college amateurs. And Russia, like, was the Russian army. And they were, like, the pro players. And those guys, they couldn't handle losing to these kids from the U.S.
Ooh. Yeah, you'll see a lot of that.
What?
Lightning.
Oh, I didn't see it.
But it looks like it's slowing up. It looks like
it's
the
blue
sun's...
behind us, right?
What's that?
It's
sky
dark. It's a dark gray.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just watched that up on Instagram. They showed the ending of that game
Yeah?
because they had a score at the end to win.
Right.
Yeah. I remember seeing it live.
I was 2. I have a picture
You
of my
don't
father
remember-
holding me up by the TV.
Yeah.
But I don't have any 2-year-old memories.
No?
Yeah.
No. What's your earliest memory?
I think my earliest memory is when my great-grandmother passed away and we went to her funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about the time that they came out with those new, well, they were new at the time. It was a Shell gas station, you know, where they got those square roofs that are, the entire gas station is all lit up. I just remember playing in the gully next to it. I think I might have been 5.
What's a gully?
A gully? You don't know what a gully
You know
is?
what gully is?
Gully?
Gully.
No.
I don't even know how to explain it. It's just swale.
Yeah.
You know what a swale is?
Swale or swale?
Swale.
Swale? No.
Yeah. So basically, it's like where all the water drains to.
Okay.
You know, it's like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
So like the opposite of a
on the
hill.
other side here of the pond, that would
Yeah.
be a gully.
And if they do it on purpose so it drains the water?
Yeah, it's for where, you know, like you got this parking lot that you just paved. You got to have some place for all the water to go.
There's a Disney movie called Fern Gully.
That's a bird.
I think it's a... Oh, is it? A gully?
That's a bird?
A gully? Yeah.
A gull?
Gull?
Fern Gully, you would. Oh, look at that. There's somebody going to get married.
Yeah.
They waited for the rain to stop, and it stopped, and now it's time to go and get married.
Woo. This word started... When you say it one word over and over,
Gully?
it starts to sound weird to me. And I just had that experience with gully.
Like moist.
Especially with these mics. Moist.
What's your earliest memory?
Oh, man. Earliest memory? Probably something Christmas. Thinking.
Yeah?
What'd you get?
We used to have I grew up in a big family, like uncles and aunts and cousins. I think that's probably my earliest memory is Christmas at my aunt's house with everybody there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then me in trouble.
What'd you do?
Well, back then, they didn't label nothing. And they put vodka in the orange juice, made screwdrivers. So I woke up in the morning,
And had
had screwdrivers with my pancakes. Didn't know. So
Pre-made screwdriver.
yeah, you know, remember those old containers where you had to push the top in back in the day?
Yeah. I've seen those.
Yeah, it was one of them. So I drank it.
I don't see how you got in trouble for that.
Yeah, well, you know, my old school, you know, it's your fault. Well, you don't want to put it in there.
I don't know what. I don't even know what I'm in trouble for. What's in there?
That's how it was back then.
So you had a hell of a Christmas.
Sure did.
I would think you wouldn't remember that Christmas.
No, I remember being the last one to open my gifts because I had to stand in the corner.
Oh, well, that's what it was, standing in the corner.
Couldn't have been that much screwdriver in there if you could stand.
Yeah, my mom was a old Czechoslovakian lady, so
Oh, okay.
their rules are a little different there.
Yeah.
Did she come here from Czechoslovakia?
Years ago, yeah.
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 So she was born
I think
in...
her and 2 brothers. Or no. 3. She was like almost the middle, so yeah. She had 13 brothers and sisters. So back then they had big families.
Yeah.
Some were born there, some were born here.
Nice.
And they're the type of uncles that throw you around, give you a nudge now and then. Even as I was older. One of these in the ribs, you know.
So where's all your family now? Still up there, or is it around here?
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah. I think I got... Actually, I don't even think they all moved. Yeah, Pennsylvania. They either moved south or live in PA. That's where they were born, most of them.
So
or who's left, I should say.
So, and then I know you as a seafood guy.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I know Ray as like a master fish cutter. He told me they used to just call him Captain Ray.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Wegmans. Either Captain Ray or Seafood Ray. But the guys, people that came down here with me or worked with long enough, they'd always just call me the captain.
The captain.
Yeah.
The captain is
Yeah.
much cooler than
Yeah.
Seafood Ray.
Yeah, like
F-
I would
for
answer
what
the
it's
phone,
worth.
Seafood Ray, and everyone would be like, "Oh, look, it's Seafood Ray." So,
What's your favorite type of fish to prepare?
it was weird. I think I was already telling you this. Upstate New York, everything was fried or haddock. You got shrimp fried, scallops fried, fish fried. During Lent, fried haddock was your biggest thing.
Yeah.
Came down here, and it was like, wow. Like, so much different
Diversity.
different options, different ways to cook. And then, knowing how to cook, and you still always keep learning when you're cooking. It can't be always, you just can't be like, I know everything. The more I know, the better. I mean,
Yeah.
it's tough going out to eat sometimes. Because sometimes you get disappointed. You're like, oh, I could cook that better.
Yeah. No, I totally get that.
So, like, oysters were, like, when I remember doing oysters, like, it kind of went in phases. Like, when I got to the oyster thing, I was chomping oysters. It was just, I'm going to get into the oysters. And then I got into the shrimps. And then, back then, there was, can't do it now, but we used to have blue marlin or bluefin tuna. Bluefin tuna is my favorite, by the way.
Bluefin tuna.
Bluefin tuna. But here nor there right now, it's hard to come by. But rockfish, same thing too. There's just so many different fishes with different tastes. You can do so much to it if you want, but sometimes less is best.
What do you mean?
Oh, because sometimes everyone wants to over season it or fry it or put like.
That's why you like tuna, isn't it?
Yeah,
You just
a little bit
slice
of
it off.
Oh yeah, kind of mid-rare, or even with sea bass. You grill some sea bass and throw a little bit of butter on it, even though it's buttery, with a little bit of nice sea salt or kosher salt. Man, all that flavor you're missing. So, yeah, I would say if any of the tunas, sea bass, rockfish, and then you can get into like the shrimps and steamed shrimp, different things. So, depends on what my mood is.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense with the Chesapeake here.
Oh yeah.
The variety would be a lot higher. There's so much stuff.
There is.
My mom's favorite was always monkfish.
Yeah.
It's hard to come by out here.
Oh, we sell it.
Yeah, we have monkfish all the time.
Actually goes on promo next week.
Does it?
Yeah.
All right. She always loved it because it was so much easier than lobster and pretty much the same texture.
Yeah.
Right. That's why they call it monkfish.
Yeah.
Because the monks were like vow of poverty. They couldn't afford the good stuff. They couldn't
Is that
afford
really
lobster.
why they call it monkfish?
That's what I always heard. So that's what the monks always ate, because it was a good, cheap substitute for lobster.
Poor man's lobster. It's good to use in like stews, chowders that they ask for lobster tails, because then you can just chop up the monk. You're not spending that pricey, whatever it is, tails or whole lobsters are, and you still get the flavor profile on that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you've worked seafood kind of up and down the eastern seaboard. Do people try to steal crab meat all over the place,
Everywhere.
or just in Baltimore?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
And not like one can.
Why are they trying to steal it?
It's like gold. We had one guy come in with a shopping cart. Say, hey, this is for, you got 20 cans of Jumbo Lump? We're like, sure. I get in the back, hey, AP, we're on it. Right out the door he goes. I mean, they got him, but see, it's too, everyone communicated with each other, all the different stores. Like Giant would call or call us, or if someone was in there and say, hey, there's someone coming through stealing or taking crab meat. And they're just blatant about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then they go to restaurants with it.
Yeah.
And take it to the back door.
Oh, it's easy to sell.
And it's easy to sell.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'll pay you $10 a can. Do you know?
Yeah, we had something going on. They would come in and take the steak, our frozen shrimp, and those steak and shrimp nights they used to have downtown.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that stuff was coming from these stores, and they would sell them to certain different places.
Wow. Black market.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Baltimore, they got to keep the crab meat. It's every once in a while they're like, oh, we can put the crab meat back out, and then it always ends up being a terrible idea. So you have to ask, and then you get the crab meat.
Yeah.
And you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put this on ice for you. I'll meet you up by the registers. We'll make sure it stays nice and cold for you while you're shopping.
You don't just give it to them.
Yeah.
Because then they just disappear.
They're gone.
Gone. Chesapeake Gold out the door.
That's funny.
The people that you catch stealing at a grocery store, those are the people that are shitty at it. So, like, imagine all the people that you don't catch them because they're a good thief.
Yeah.
Usually people are 9 times out of 10, they're blatantly obvious that they're.
Yeah, when you hear the rappers getting really, really loud, they're trying to get it in the bag. But you can just sit there and watch it. And they're just hustling as fast as they can to get it in the bag. And usually it's like, yeah, we already know what you're doing. So it never really makes it out the door.
Have you done a lot of fishing too? Or, yeah?
I've done deep sea a few times. That was fun. Just if you ever go, make sure you take your Dramamine. I like being sick at 50 miles offshore. But I catch stuff right here.
You got to ride back.
Yeah, yeah, it's a long ride back. We caught little black bass. It was during the White Marlin Open, so we were out I think we were like 60 miles out by the. God, I can't think of the name, Neckbone or whatever it was, whatever the reef was called. And they were doing White Marlin Open back then. They just had some dolphin fish swimming around, but just a few black bass, and that was it. Captain got sick. I didn't, so we were good because I learned. But here, this is pretty good pond too, man. Got some nice big bass in there. Caught a big bass the other day.
Yeah, you showed me that picture.
Yeah.
You'll have to send me that so I can put it in the video. It was like that big, wasn't it?
It was about 17, 18 inches. But what they did when I first moved here, you could catch things out of here, the little wiggly worm, like bam, 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 and they were giant. This ain't a fish store. These are humongous fish. I'm like, man, I'm like Kurt Gowdy catching all these fish. Come to find out, they had a competition, and the guy took all the competition fish and dropped it in here. So you were catching all these big bass. So whatever's in here is a lineages of these things. But if I'm correct, this pond before that has the largest bass caught out of here on record.
This little pond?
Yeah, I think this is it because I know the rockfish came out of the reservoir here.
Really?
The inland rockfish came out of the reservoir, but I think this pond's got a record from 1 year for the biggest bass.
Wow!
Somebody put them all in here?
Well, they got stocked throughout the years, but the inland bass record or pond record I think is here.
Okay.
Years before he came here.
Man, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, but when I got here, some guy that used to fish here did competitions, and at the end they weigh the bass and all that stuff. Came and dropped some of them in here. And I'll show you some pics. These things were huge. I was like, man, but these bass, were they eating everything in there? But yeah, they were some big, big bass.
So I read in my research on Cold Saturday Farm that this cabin was moved here, and this was the what did I call it? The house or something for summer house for swimming and skating. But I don't know. They said prior to that pond being here, that was the actual pigsty.
Really?
Yeah. So, I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's what it says on the internet.
It could be.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a spring right off the island that feeds it. And then these 2 streams feed it too. So probably before the streams. Or there might have been a little stream through there. Because there was a couple houses on this farm that aren't here no more either.
Man, while we're here, I'm looking out there, and I just keep looking at that bridge. That bridge is very cool.
Mm-hmm. Actually, Garnet.
Yeah, I got some flight footage of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it is cool.
He built that for his wife.
Really?
Yeah, and planted that tree there for his wife. Now, if you were to go upstairs into the 3rd floor bathroom, that's etched on the glass to the shower.
The bridge and the tree?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he hand built that for it. It used to be a road. So the road for Reisterstown used to come through the farm. See, look, I see it. You might get it at Rainbow. But it came through the farm, and
Now, come on, now you guaranteed a rainbow.
I'm guaranteeing it, man. I'm telling you. I could tell by the sky color. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But Garnet was telling me when they bought the farm, there was a police chase, and the guy thought the road was still here, and actually literally drove the car down here, and the cops got him because the road ain't here no more. So yeah, they popped him right by the bridge here. But if we go into the woods, you could see some of the old road going up into the.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And the farm used to be a lot bigger, right?
Yeah, 300 acres.
They sold off some of it.
Yeah.
For
how many acres?
300.
And it's.
I thought I remembered 300.
You did. You said 300 in the car.
Yeah.
But they sold some of it off and built.
Yeah. So the Hackneys that bought it in the early 1900s. So I guess from what I read, all these farms were working off each other, and it had a different. I think it was Clover Hill Farm or whatever the heck it was called. So it was Cold Saturday, then it became Clover Hill, and then when Hackneys came back, bought it. That from what I heard, they changed it back, and it was still. This was country back then. So when the grandparents died, or the people that lived here passed away, the kids had partialed some of it off for them. And then
they broke it up. That's why they used to just give it all to the firstborn.
Yeah.
So that it wouldn't get broke up.
So when he grabbed it, it was 125 acres still.
Mm.
So that was still a cornfield. That was still a grain field with the houses on the other side of the creek. And then he developed around and kept the 50. So the 50 is declared historic by the National Historic Society.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And Liberty Reservoir is where, like,
right there,
that way.
What you see that behind us is part of the reservoir, which used to be part of the farm.
Right.
So it was 75 acres, and then she moved it that way.
Okay.
And the granddaughter lived on the backside here, Sissy.
Her name was Sissy?
Where did they have, like, the cattle and everything?
Like the fields here, if you go look down, were you drawn by that house? That was all cattle going down.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because that was still part of the farm.
Wow.
Which is ironic because there's actually a cattle farm back there still.
Still?
Not theirs, but it goes country when you go down Deerfield. Still has farms and horses.
So, let's put the debate to the test once and for all. Or put it to rest, rather. Cold Saturday. There's a couple of theories out there as to why it's called Cold Saturday Farm. So what's the actual reason as far as you know?
It's written in the document.
It's written in the deed?
That King George signed. But from what I heard is when the surveyors were here and when they got back to King George, it was that time you guys were here when it actually was cold.
Yeah, it was.
And
it was like making sure its name was upheld.
Especially down in here in this cabin, boy. Whoo-wee.
Yeah, it was sleeting and it was freezing rain while we were here the first time.
behind the cabin, and then where that car is, there used to be or about behind the shed, there used to be a house right there.
It started raining. That's when I got to be about done.
Yeah.
He's about done too.
Yeah, Ray's done.
Right, see it coming out?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah. That used to come out, and then the other house was right here.
Man, the star of the show today is this golf cart, man.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
And then I see the deal. But they said it was a cold,
on a Saturday.
On a Saturday too. It was a Saturday too, wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah,
Yes,
they said
was.
it was a cold Saturday when they did this, and King George the Third said Cold Saturday Farm.
Man.
Makes sense.
And then if you Google it, you'll also see the one with the what the heck did he do that for? His governor's wife said it'd be a cold Saturday in hell before I live here.
Originally, it was Clover Hill, right?
Right.
Oh.
In between, it was Clover Hill.
In between, it was Clover Hill. So, like, from the jump.
As far as I know, from the jump, it was Cold
Saturday. Nice.
Wow.
And then in between, something like they like I said, they all joined, because Clover Hill actually used to be where those houses are. The Clover last 2 years ago until they sold it. So for all these farms were all together, and in the back side of that house was the office you paid your taxes to. So there used to be a road.
What year was that?
Man, he's got pictures. It had to be in the 1900s because he's got a picture of maybe 1940.
Okay.
So it was still back then. It went back to Cold Saturday.
It's pretty wild, man. When you think about, like, the idea of a place and, like, grounds, like, having a memory and, like, all the different things that this property has seen, man. It's wild to think about.
There was even a Civil War skirmish here. I mean,
yeah,
that was a field hospital.
You know the name of the skirmish?
I'd have to Google it. I remember when I first moved here, I Googled everything about this. You know, every time I'd find something, I'd be like, "Oh, what's this? What's this?" So, but I do know you could find in there that was a Civil War hospital, and that there's a door behind one of the fireplaces that, depending on who was here, and if they were injured, they would stuff them behind the door, whether it was north or south. So whoever was coming through didn't grab them.
that's considered the manor house right there.
Yes.
Which is very unique because they didn't put houses like that on farms.
This is I would say the second oldest, 1763. Let's not look at the extension, but the square part, the main house, and that was built for King George III's governor. And then let me turn around the corner here, and then as it projects out, the bottom.
In what year?
1763. Actually, it's on a historic plaque. I'll show you when we get to it. Where the eaves are, that was the servants' quarters. So the little windows. So all the servants for the house back in the days when they had servants and indentured servants and all that. And then the top right is a bedroom. In the middle, there's a bathroom. There's one, two. Each room has a fireplace. Even the kitchen. Fireplace. So there's two fireplaces there, one there. So I think, what did I say there was? There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's about almost 10 fireplaces because the big one's in the bottom. So, and then that one.
What is that where they live now?
Yeah, Garnet lives here by himself. His wife passed away in 2019.
All right.
But he lives on this side, where those 3 windows are.
Yeah.
That's his bedroom. But it's all cool, man. Like I said, what we'll do is we'll have, when he's home next time, I'll have you come over and we'll tour the house. And once we get a tour, there's a piano in there that's famous, and it's actually on a stamp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The piano's on a stamp.
Piano's on a stamp.
And it's been here for.
Garnet grabbed it when he would refurbish the house. So this corner here. So when I first moved here, I was always told there's 2 doors here, and one of the doors was for the servants. When I seen the old picture, this actually used to be a road, and that was the office. And you paid your taxes and your land taxes to the office here because there was 5 farms connected, and this was your tax office. And actually, in there's the original deed too to the farm, signed by King George III.
Really?
Yeah. But you could just kind of get the grandeur of this place.
And then when electricity first came, they had the knob there for the wire.
Oh, yeah, there's a bolt there too.
This is original when electricity first came out.
What, that right there?
Yeah, this is for electrical wire
Yeah.
to wire these places.
Yeah.
When electricity first started being used.
But you can even look in the glass, the candy glass. Or the see the waves. That's original.
Oh yeah, you can see like the texture of the glass.
Was that when they used to float it?
Yeah. Yeah, you can see where they added on here to everything. And there's stairs right here. They go up. There's side steps right here. These are servant stairs right here.
Classic federal style. It's got coins on it. So the coins are the large cornerstones that add the structural strength and decorative appeal.
Yeah.
And then those fan lights, that semicircle over those lights, that's apparently really unique and special. And then it's got a portico.
Which things are you talking about? The lights?
I was talking about, it's called a fan light. It's above that window. It's the semicircle.
Oh, okay.
The balcony.
Over the door?
Yep, over the door, and then, over the door on the top and the bottom. There's 2 fan lights. Because they
call it a fan because of the shape of the window.
Yep.
Yeah. The
And
view
then-
up there is incredible.
Oh, and they're on both floors.
Yeah. And that structures, that doorway has changed. There used one picture you got a whole big porch on it, and then now it's come down to this.
I'm getting a picture of the flower girls looking at the fan lights.
Yeah, it's got very rare architectural features. So most federal style homes did not have the second floor balcony.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's very unique about it. And the second floor balcony was a luxury feature back then, signaling wealth and social status.
What signaled wealth?
Having a second floor balcony.
It is impressive.
And it's rare. Most federal style homes didn't have that.
Mm.
So the dude who built the house, did you say he was a lawyer from Baltimore?
The flower girls are really interested in what's going on down here.
This was built by whoever for King George.
Oh, so this was the original house.
Yeah. It's the see the onshoot or whatever the heck that's called, the addition. That wasn't there.
Oh, that was added.
That was added. So the square, the regular square, the bottom half was added. So the addition, the bottom half was added in the 1800s, and then the top half was added in the early 1900s.
And it looks like they recapped the fireplaces.
Yeah.
Because it's got newer brick.
Yeah. That's an amazing house. I mean, it's.
How long did you live in it?
Oh, I never did. I've just been in it.
Oh, I thought you lived in it for a while.
No, I've lived in this stone house right here.
And the oldest one.
That's the oldest one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You lived in the oldest building.
Yeah.
For how many? How long?
7, 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably one of the oldest houses in America, and you lived in it for 8 years.
Yeah. And then the stone house is the oldest house on the property. It was here before the main house. The addition, there's like 2 additions on these houses. That's the original. That's about 17 something. They say 17, early 1700s.
Yep.
And then the addition to that door, you could tell was part of the 1800s because they still had the blocks. And then where that room is, there's cinder. So from that door over is the 1900s, 1800s, 1700s.
So that's the oldest house on the property.
This is the oldest house on the property, probably in the area.
Has it always had a metal roof?
Yes, all that is all original.
Wow.
And we'll go in there too.
Cool.
And then now you can see all the way as far as you can see used to be part of the farm. Way past those trees. So you just think back in the day.
300 acres, huh?
Originally 300 acres. He bought it at 125, 150. This is 50 acres here. He developed 100. So that side and that side he developed. And that was the last side to be developed. So this was part of the original road to Reisterstown. You can go down the carriage road, and it's been planed, but the road will go straight. And the next time we come, we'll go into the woods. You'll see actually part of the road. Actually, we can get on that. We can get on the reservoir. Like there's buildings out there still.
Really?
Yeah. But now that this is where the brides and bridesmaid do their thing now. I used to love living here, man. This was so nice. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, it does feel good in here, man.
Oh, yeah.
It sure does.
Because the heater was broke. This wasn't working. I came in here earlier. This thing was rocking. I got it fixed, so it was 90-some degrees in there. Now this is all added on. When I lived here, the fireplace was blue and there was doors. And I got a story for you to say. There was doors on here, and this was my living room. I had my chair in the corner, doors here, TV here. I think I've been in here about 6 months to 7 months, and after the grandparents died, the daughters lived here, and the last daughter that lived here, I can't think of her name, but she lived in the end room, and then she went to the old folks home. But they all talked about it in the writing. They loved the farm. They loved the farm. So I was sitting here one day, my recliner, I had a Cat Jack, and this being gas heat, it's usually pretty quiet. And it was a day like today. The pipes, someone was down there, the pipes going ting, 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 ting. I'm like, man, it's awful loud. I just figured it was just because it was cold. Well, Jack jumps off my lap, and there was a different light here, and he sits right here, and the pipes are like ding, 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 ding. And he looks up at the light. I'm watching him from there, and he goes, man, I'm not going to lie to you, the cabinet door, the latch on the cabinet door started going, and I turn around, I'm sitting there going, oh, what? And the door opens, and that was it. Well, I think her name is Janice. Come to find out that the lady that lived there passed away that weekend. So that's the only ghost story, whether it's a ghost story. And I try to debunk it, man, because there was blankets in there pushing up against the door. And I just sat there, I'm like, it actually really happened. Upstairs in town, there used to be a closet. I wish they took the closet out when I lived here, because it gave it more light. But there used to be a closet here. And had like the wallpaper with horses. And this is cool, man. I like this upstairs. I used to have this as a guest room. So there's 3 fireplaces in here. And there's still a bear claw tub right there, original.
Man, the ceiling is so short.
Yeah, it keeps the heat.
Yeah. I mean, it's perfect size for me.
Yeah.
This is rare for me to stand in a room and my head be right up against the ceiling like this.
I guess it shows how much taller people are nowadays.
Mm.
Wow, this is a cool house, man.
This is my favorite.
Yeah.
And the
You
view.
right up moving it.
Let's go back. The attic.
So was this the house that we drove by originally, and you said this was the oldest house on the property?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, this is it. It took me a lot of years to get up in this attic, and I was scared. I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, you know, you don't know what's up there. Yeah, this really aged that. All right. Hold on, wait 1 second. All right, I'll let you go up.
All right.
I'll let you go up.
Yeah.
There's only room for one.
I didn't do that.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking creepy.
What?
Yeah, that picture, there's that and 2 other pictures I found up there. No one knows who that lady is.
Wow.
Because we even showed the granddaughter. We thought maybe it was someone in the family. I don't know who it was. The artist I found online, but they weren't like that. They were set up against the side wall.
You were able to find the artist online, though, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
My last year here, I had a whole row of sunflowers here with lavender. And they were huge, monster, big heads like this sunflowers, man.
Wow.
And that's the one we were in and has a
with
very
the
short
small-
ceiling.
Short ceiling.
And the creepy picture of the woman up in the attic. Ray was like, just go up there and look. You'll see it.
Yeah.
And you go
It
up
was
and it's like
creepy.
a weird shrine to some woman.
Yeah, no one knows who it is. Even when Sissy came up here, they showed him. They didn't know who she was. So
It's that old. That picture's that old.
it's 54, but it wasn't. And the artist is still. I found him online, but yeah, it was.
He doesn't know either?
Well, we couldn't find. He's passed away now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, she didn't know who he was. She was. We thought it was maybe someone that lived there, and he came because I got 2 pictures in there that he painted of horses, a horse and a tree or something, whatever. That he did. I guess it must have one time an artist lived there.
We'll have to do some grok research and see if we can figure out who it is.
Yeah. It's crazy. They're just like pictures that just are going to stay with the property.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, they were up in the attic.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
This place is very charming.
Is there like air conditioning in that house? In that stone house?
Now?
No.
No.
Window,
Yeah.
which
There's a window unit?
yeah.
Oh, just the window?
Yeah. No, there's the window.
I thought you meant window unit.
Yeah, no, the window unit. Now that's all fully air conditioned and got all the bells and whistles.
Okay, cool.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I take it when you lived there, it had indoor plumbing?
Here, yeah. Yeah, this is all.
I
modern.
wonder when they added that.
Well, you could see on the addition here that part of it is before concrete, and then when was concrete? 1900s.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So you can see where they had the little. There's actually a picture without the addition from the porch, where the porch is here. On there was nothing. It wasn't there. And then from what I heard is one of the Hackney daughters added it on and moved in there.
So before concrete was invented?
I'd have to make because it goes
Never
stone.
really thought about a time before concrete, but it makes sense. There's got to be
Yeah.
some time before it.
Well,
or cinder blocks.
the Romans had concrete, so that's thousands of years ago. So
I would say cinder blocks.
Cinder blocks.
Cinder blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. We talked about the gas pump one time. So they removed the gas pump, the original gas pump.
Yeah, it's in the garage.
It's in the garage?
Yeah, but someone sanded it, took away the patina.
Oh.
Yeah. When I first came here, it was there. It was real cool. You're like, wow. They had to lay it out a little bit different, but through all the weddings and wedding planners, things keep getting moving around. So
Yeah. I always thought it would be cool to get like a vintage gas pump like that and turn it into a charger for an electric vehicle.
yeah,
Imagine how cool that would be.
say that again.
Get like an antique vintage gas pump and redo it so it's actually a charger for an electric vehicle. That would be
I
cool.
like that project.
That would be cool.
That would be funny. Funny, cool. Yeah, there's nothing about that I don't like. That's cool.
Like tailor it so it's the kind of thing that some person with more money than they know what to do with would spend $15,000 on it. You know?
So you mean an authentic one?
an authentic one, high end, converted to be a supercharger. That would be cool.
That would.
I don't know about you guys, but this is just relaxing.
Ain't it?
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Many nights I've fallen asleep in one of these chairs.
You just sit out here and listen to the. You get a lot of foxes and coyotes.
Yeah, when the reservoir's down, usually get a lot of coyotes. I like the first snow here. When we get our first dusting, you know who's on the property, animal-wise, because you see all their tracks. You'll see everything. You see foxes, coyotes. There's
Speaking of foxes.
Oh yeah. I like wedding season. So
I want to hear this.
This is good. This is good. It's not really about a fox, but it was still when I first moved down here. They had this wedding here. It was kind of day like today, and they were all in kilts, and they were drinking Jameson out of the bottle. I said, "This is gonna be one hell of a wedding, man." And the wedding planner was new, so she's all green. And I'm down here, and I'm having a couple beers. And they're dancing. They come up there for the pictures, and come find they're like Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, you know. And it was real cool because bagpipes were playing amongst the farm. It was really, really cool, you know. And I just keep watching them drink that Jameson and that whiskey right out of the bottle. I said, no good's gonna come of this, man. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, she should have taken that bottle away like as soon as she saw it come out.
Yeah. So we had a storm like this, and I went inside, and all of a sudden I look. And this dude comes running by here naked, full speed, and stops at the last minute and grabs a ladder. And I'm laughing. I'm like, holy God, there's a naked dude out here. So he runs up. I had a chair over there with a seat cushion. He grabs it, and he runs back up the field. And I said, you can keep that seat cushion, man. So I walk up. I was laughing. I couldn't believe it. I wish I would have filmed it. It was too funny. So I get up there, and one of his brothers goes, "Oh, I mean, I apologize, man." He was, I can't remember the guy's. Hey, Mike. Mike's crazy like that. He just will do anything. I go, just so you know, if he bet you, he didn't go in the pond. And you can keep seat cushion too. I appreciate it. So that was like the big thing, because that's usually everything is all calm. Everyone goes home, but every once in a while we get a breakout like that, and kind of makes it interesting. But it was her, I think, her second wedding, man. She was so embarrassed. I'm like, I don't worry about it, man. It happens, you know. As long as everyone's having fun and no one gets hurt,
This is
man.
what makes the weddings memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we had.
If everything goes as planned, no one's going to remember it.
No, not at all.
That's right.
I mean, his sons live down in Florida. They made it down to Florida, you know, quick. You know what I mean? There was a naked dude in there. And then I think one of the coolest we had one last year was a wedding like today. And all of a sudden, it was a lot of activity bird-wise and all this stuff. So I'm outside watching. All of a sudden, you see these 3 parachutes, 3 skydivers, and the groomsmen and the groom all parachuting into the wedding. That was cool. That was, and they came in hot too, because they came banked and they had to go between the.
So these guys knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they came in.
They
hot,
were parachuters.
Yeah.
They weren't just doing it for the wedding.
No.
Because they all have to land in the same spot.
Yeah, they had to land on that strip on the other side of that big tent.
Okay.
That was their land before they put the rocks in. That was their landing spot.
And they all landed there?
They all right. And then the craziest thing, a bomber flew over. One of those big old C-40s or whatever it was. Had nothing to do with it.
Had nothing to do with it?
Nothing to do, but you want to talk. Because we all went, oh, man, they jumped out of that plane? So what Meredith went and asked, he goes, no, that was just perfect timing. I go, heck, yeah, it was perfect timing. It couldn't have tied in.
I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, weddings here, they're usually pretty cool.
Would you jump out of a plane?
I would.
You would? Wouldn't?
I would.
You would?
Maybe not now.
Would you?
I do plenty of dangerous stuff. That thing seems like one thing I could avoid.
Yeah. When I was a little kid, my dad did it, and I went.
Why would you do that?
Well, he wanted me to go, and he wanted me to take pictures of him up
Okay.
there. So I did it.
You jumped out of a plane?
No. I went and took the pictures of him.
Oh, okay.
I was little. I was probably like 6. But he did like a tandem jump where you're on somebody's back. You're like connected to somebody who actually knows what they're doing.
Oh, yeah, that's the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
I would not do it any other way.
There's a lot that could go wrong.
Yeah, there is. People die from it still. It's rare, but I've been watching a lot of the base jumping where they have a tandem base jump like that in Moab, Utah.
Oh, yeah.
That's just like jumping off a cliff or something?
Yeah, and if you think about it, it's a lot more dangerous.
New River Gorge does that.
You don't get a second shoot chance.
Mm-mm.
Oh, you're right. Because on a parachute, you have a backup suit.
There's no second chance.
Yeah, you're basically dropping out with that, and then you toss it.
Oh, they toss it as they jump off the cliff.
Yeah. If you ever
I was worried that the thing he tossed was going to get hooked on something on the edge of the cliff, but
they do that at New River Gorge on Bridge Day.
But Moab is beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. Have you been?
No.
I would put it on your bucket list, guys. It's absolutely gorgeous there.
Yeah. Where is it? Arizona?
Utah. I got to go out there. A friend of mine invited me in 2020 to go out there and go biking in the desert.
That was probably real cool to do. Like after COVID, you hadn't been anywhere for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a godsend. Camping under the stars.
So what dangerous stuff have you done? You said you've done plenty of dangerous stuff. Like what?
Well, I went, what year was it? I think it was 23. I went up Mount Whitney with a friend of mine. I wouldn't say I do really crazy dangerous stuff, but dangerous enough.
Climbing a mountain is dangerous enough.
With a full backpack on, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we did the mountaineering trek to get to the top of it. So.
You had to train for that.
Yeah, one of the guys that went up was 20 years younger than me, and he was working out of, where was it? It wasn't San Diego. It was, he was in LA, right? Basically sea level, and he was a experienced hiker. He did a lot of hiking, but he didn't prep for the altitude. And the altitude, it got him, and he didn't get the summit because of it.
Damn. That
San
would
Francisco
suck.
is where he was from.
Go all the way out there, go through all that, and not make it. That would suck.
Well, he got an hour into the summit in the next morning, and then they had to take him back to camp because he just was not breathing right. I mean, it's 14,508 feet, so it's thin up there.
Yeah.
But my buddy and I, we worked at NASA together, and we had been hiking for a year where we were going every weekend, and then we went out to Mammoth Lakes, which is another place I highly recommend to go to, and that was between 3,000 and 10,000. We went hiking every day while we were there to get acclimated to the higher altitude.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
So it starts off in Lone Pine, which is a place where they filmed all the old westerns. You see these big piles of rocks, like what you'll see people pile up in a river.
Mm-hmm.
They put those little stacks of rocks. Well, these are natural formations that are, nobody's piling these up.
Yeah.
Cairns.
Is that what they're called? I forget the name of the area, but it's 95 degrees to 110 in Lone Pine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get in a car and you drive up to Mount Whitney Portal, and it's 30 degrees colder. By the time we did it in August, and when we got to the top, it was around 30 degrees. And it started not hailing, they call it grapple on our way down. So you're climbing on a mountain with a backpack on. And it's putting ice all over the rocks for you.
Oh, nice.
But it's better than raining.
Yeah.
That's dangerous enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. It was actually really safe because we had guides that knew what the hell they were doing. But It could go wrong.
But you got to be in shape. You got to prepare. You got to train.
Yeah, you got to be able to walk down it. You got to be able to walk up it. They call it the slog. We did the summit and the D summit all in 3 days.
You spend a lot of time in the gym getting in shape, right?
Yeah.
Have you like your whole life been into that, or is that something?
I actually used to own a gym when I was younger.
Yeah.
5 years.
How old were you?
27, so I got it when I was 22, 23, 28. So I had it from 23 to 28.
You owned a gym at 28. That's cool.
Well, I had partners too, which after that I've learned not to have partners, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, it was cool, man. It was.
We're here for the stories.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to trash anybody. I got good stories because I met all the WWF wrestlers back then.
Really?
Yeah, so we would let them train in the gym for free.
Well, tell us the name of one of them.
Shoot, I met the Ultimate Warrior. I actually trained with the Ultimate Warrior.
Okay.
The only person I didn't meet was Hogan, but I met Piper, Scary Sherry, Queen
I
Elizabeth.
almost wore a T-shirt that I bought today. Now I'm wishing I'm like, let's not wear that today. Remember that movie that Piper was in?
Oh,
I have come here for the bubble gum and to kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yeah.
Yeah. What movie was that?
The unknown.
Wouldn't he have to wear glasses to see aliens? Was
Yeah,
that it?
yeah. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah. He was a nice guy. He was really down to earth, man.
I've heard that.
Yeah. Then we had
What-
the Macho Man came in. Oh no. He came in. He
Macho
was cool,
Man.
So where the hell was your gym where all the guys came in?
So it started. So Cicero, New York, plugged the Champions Per Fitness because it's still there with different owners. I started out as a pro shop, and I would sell supplements and all that stuff. And so the wrestlers from the limo, they knew the limo drivers and all that, the guys that owned it. So they would just bring them, and they said, "You train for free." You know, a Hawk and Animal were in there. No, we're talking about some strong men, man. They're benching 405 with reps like nothing.
The Road Warriors.
Yeah, the Road Warriors in there. I met what's his name from who's it? Jim Anvil. I met Jim Anvil. So I got a towel that I had them all sign. So I would I'd make them whatever protein shake, give them a free drink. They signed my towel. Wish we had phones back then, you know, because I would have all these great pictures. So one of the greatest ones was John, which was the Ultimate Warrior. We were training. I was at the one in Cicero. We're working out. You know, he's real cool, and he don't talk like, "Oh, old brother." They all talk normal, you know. And all of a sudden, it was next to a Toys R Us. So somehow Toys R Us, and next thing you know, all these little kids with these little Ultimate Warrior dolls are peeking into the window. You know, so after
the Ultimate Warrior actually trained.
Yeah, so they wanted autographs, and I was like, so after he signed my belt, I said, "Hey, there's a back door if you want to get out here and not get back." So I had to go tell his limo driver, swing around the back, and I walked out the Ultimate Warrior to his limo, so he didn't have to be berated by all these fans, man.
Swarmed by the fans.
Yeah,
Man, that's
that was cool. And then I had another one I lost. Oh, remember Jimmy Snuka?
Yeah, Superfly.
Superfly, I met him. Jimmy Snuka came into the gym, right?
Yeah, he used to do that.
Yeah. Oh, he got kicked out of Syracuse for beating up the dogs. Anyways,
For beating up the dogs.
back in the day, man, Syracuse police, whatever, he was getting arrested, he was doing something, he fought the dogs. So he was not allowed in Syracuse, New York for a long time.
Damn.
Back in the day.
Like, dude, you got to leave.
Yeah. But he came in, and I was dating this girl, and he was, you know, she was walking him back to my pro shop. And then he gets in, and he's like, "Oh, brother, give me a whatever." He left. She goes, "He doesn't talk like that." I said, "Why?" He goes, "He was all sweet on me talking normal, like without the wrestling voice." I started laughing. I didn't even think about it back then. Because, you know, when you're a kid, you always think they talk like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she goes, "No, he don't talk like that. He's got a normal voice." But he was big. I mean, these guys were all big dudes.
Those dudes were insane.
Yeah.
Their arms. I mean, Hulk Hogan's arm, 24 inches, the 24-inch pythons. That's ridiculous.
Savage was cool, man. He came in with the Undertaker, not the Undertaker, but Paul Bearer. It was Paul Berry, Scary Sherry, Queen Elizabeth, and him. They used to come in all the time and train. And they were just kind of, after a while, you just kind of see him, hey, man, how you doing, Randy? Yeah, no problem. He didn't do snapping the Slim Jim stuff, you know what I mean? He just...
If I have to fold one more box, I'm gonna snap.
Did you say snap? Snap into a Slim Jim! Need a little excitement? Snap into a Slim Jim!
Snap into it.
Yeah. he would just come in.
I mean, I guess it makes sense if those guys are on the road. They need to go train somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So
We got a few comp tickets here and there.
that's cool.
Yeah. To go watch them. Heck, shit, I did, remember, they had, what was a pay-per-view where you could win a house from them?
No, I don't.
You remember that in pay-per-view?
No.
For the wrestlers would come in and something to do. You would it was for a while. It was like they did it for a few years and whatever, you win a house or whatever, something like that.
Swimming pool, the cathedral ceilings. Oh, what a great deal.
It could all be yours.
Yeah.
All you have to do to win this extraordinary house is send a 3x5 piece of paper with your name, address, age, and telephone number. Make sure you got your telephone number down. The WWF in your house, P.O. Box 7406, Melville, New York. All entries, by the way, must be received by this Friday.
I'm on I used to do security for the security company. I'm in that video of, I don't remember which one, but I'll find it, where they're coming out of the gate or they do their walk.
Yeah.
I was one of the security guards on the corner there.
Okay, cool.
And then my buddy Leon was on the other side.
It's a WWF video where they give away a house.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna
You
find
have to
it.
go. I don't remember. I did it for a few years, but yeah, that was cool. We did do security, so I got to meet. I think even got to meet more of them because we got in the back room and Undertaker, Bam Bam Bigelow, all them guys. It was really. I mean, honestly, man, when you're a little kid or even in your 20s, man, these were like your icons or heroes back then. Wrestling was a little bit different back then, but
It was a little bit different
Yeah.
back then.
like Diesel, met Diesel, Mr. Perfect came in.
Oh, Kurt Hennig,
Yeah,
Mr.
Kurt Hennig
Perfect.
was real cool too, man. He was just laid back, just kind of whatever, man. You know, his long golden locks and shit.
Was anybody kind of a dick, or was everybody cool for the most part?
Everyone was kind of cool, man. Because it was free. You know, they got free gym.
Yeah.
You know, free supplements. So you had to sign something now and then, but they're really pretty much in and out and hey, how you doing? Friendly and all that stuff. So
So I guess your gym was like super legit. It was big and
yeah.
What's
Well,
the name
that
of
was
it?
that was one I was in the pro shop in, and then they broke off into four, and I ended up getting one. They still came in. I got the one in Liverpool. Same thing. They would stay. The hotel from Syracuse was right up the road, and they knew because it was called Champions, so they would just come to any Champions. So that's where I met Mr. Perfect and Diesel and a few other people.
that's a good gym. Champions.
Yeah.
I like that name.
So now they're all gone except for one. The original one's there, and they bought out Kitty City, not Kitty, was it Kitty City or whatever.
Lionel
They
Kitty
got
City,
the whole
yeah.
plaza now. They got pools in there and big aerobics and triple things. So yeah, they've been around for a while.
Man, that's awesome. See, it's like you start talking to somebody. Heath and I talk about this all the time.
Eclectic
Like,
gentleman.
everybody's got all these stories and people we pass every day, and you never knew. But
Yeah.
that's an amazing story. I
Yeah, that's
mean,
why we named it this, because there's so many guys walking around out there and people are like, oh, it's just another guy. No, these guys have got complicated,
Yeah.
journeys through life
Yeah,
that are really freaking interesting.
yeah.
You just got to talk to people.
Just got to talk it up, man. So you spend a lot of time in the gym now, right?
Yeah, I got back into it. It's kind of like a passion now.
What do you like about it the most?
Phew. Now, at my age, it's just that I can still do it. I'm still showing up. I'm still doing it.
That's nothing. That's not small. I
and
get it.
And I tell people, man, not that I'm no Ric Flair, or I met him too, and I'm not like no guru or nothing, but
I like that.
It's nice when a young buck says, "Hey, man, how do you do that?" Or you get complimented by a dude, an OG, you know what I mean? Says, "Hey, man, you look good," or you say back, "Hey, man, I'm sure you guys are. You tell them, hey, man, it shows, you're putting your effort in." You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, mine's more for health. You know what I mean? I just kind of...
It's great for your head too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Clears your head. You
Yeah.
get inside your own head too much. I think it's one of the biggest reason why, I don't want to speak for him, but I think Zach and I both go to yoga to
Yeah.
clear away the cobwebs.
I go in mad sometimes. Those are my best workouts. Then I leave.
I totally understand that. Can you unpack that a bit? Explain.
Oh, just stress, like inside your head, you know. I mean, things that don't matter or whatever, just work shit, whatever.
Some jackass didn't mean to cut you off, but did. And you're just getting angry about it for no particular
just
reason.
Life stuff, man. So you go in there. I said, okay, take a couple energy drinks, get in there. You know,
that helps your anger.
Yeah, those little pre-works, man. No, you just get in.
Let's elevate the anger and make sure we get it out there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, our age, you go through shit. You know what I mean? And so the gym has always been. You know, there's times, you know, I don't go there to talk. I don't go. I mean, before I get going, I'll talk a little bit until while I'm warming up. But then once that trigger goes off, I got nothing to say to you right now until I'm done. You know, then I'll, you know, I mean, it depends. I mean, if it's a casual workout where I'm not really kind of just sweating it out and grinding it out.
He's gonna love Ashtanga. We got to get him to a class. It's hard. It's hard.
Wow. I can't twist and bend too much. I got replacements, so I got to be careful.
We got a guy, one of the guys that we're friends with, Jacob. He's got some, I'd say, major back work.
Yeah, he got something crazy done, right?
Yeah, he's a fireman now.
Okay.
Because he was going to yoga, he's got a lot of his mobility back. He couldn't walk, right? He was on crutches permanently?
Yeah, he didn't walk for a while.
Yeah, and I know him. He was taking a, what was the name of the class? It was called Inversion, and it was with Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
Inversion, and I can't remember the name of it. I got to remember the name of it, too, because it was... she's really flexible. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
And we were doing headstands and whole bunches of different stuff. It'll come to me. It's like on the tip of my tongue. Getting older sucks.
I can't remember it either, but I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't remember.
But as long as you're doing something, you know, to keep healthy, you know, hiking, yoga, gym.
Yeah.
You know, keep moving.
You'll go to like the circus and you'll see these women that can get contortion.
Contortion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we were doing things like where you get a couple of feet from the wall, your back's to the wall, and you'd lean back and put both your hands on the wall.
Oh, okay.
And then you'd walk your hands down the wall.
Okay.
Until you're in a wheel. They call it wheel.
Yeah, that's not happening.
But this guy, Jacob, he couldn't walk.
Yeah.
He was on crutches.
I got G.I. Joe hips. They would fly right out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would do some of the stretches. I mean, if, you know, upper body stuff and certain things. I mean, well,
we have a saying, 95% of it is showing up on the mat.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what you have with the gym, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
95% of it is just showing up at the gym.
Actually, just anything.
Even when you get a bad workout, it's better than no workout.
No work at all. Give it 10 minutes, and if you can't, if you give it 10 minutes, you're gonna be able to finish your workout.
Yeah.
Yoga, workout, hike, whatever, man.
Yeah.
Well, there's
I can tell you got hiking calves.
Yeah. See, I blew these. You know what I did to these? Put them on the fireplace in there.
Oh, is that what happened?
And they blew out. So these are my farm shoes.
There you go.
Yeah,
your shit kickers.
Yeah. I totally forgot.
These are the ones I went up on Mount Whitney with.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to rain today, so that's why I wore them, because they're waterproof.
Oh, okay.
They're a little too warm, though.
So I'm glad we didn't bet on the rainbow. It kind of, I'm sure there's one somewhere, but not here today. But usually there is.
So much for guarantees.
Maybe it was right behind us.
It's probably right behind us, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Some dude over there crying, look at the rainbow.
Next time we do something like this, we got to get another camera and put it just off over there.
Mm-hmm.
A waterproof one.
Yeah. Through the rain.
Yeah, so it gets what's going on around us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did get a lightning strike. And there's some wicked out, man. I've got some video on my phone sitting out here and just, you know, timing it and just getting some incredible lightning strikes. There's some trees out here got hit a few years ago. Just fried them. fry them.
You got some really cool trees.
Yeah. Some we had cut down because of sickness and disease through the years, but
I like that one right there. I can't really see it right now, but I was looking at that. It's
It's
just a cool shape.
It's scary.
Yeah, it looks like a scary tree.
yeah, it used to have the big old hanging leaves. And
And then it died.
this tree right here is the oldest one on the farm. That big one covered with all that that's choking it. That's the oldest tree on the farm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys cut down that stuff that's choking it?
They used to. We don't have the landscapers we used to.
It's what, like 3 feet in diameter?
Yeah.
That's got to be at least 200 years old.
Yeah. I tell you right now, every once in a while, one of them branches fall, man. From up top.
It's loud.
Oh, yeah.
What type of tree is it?
I don't even know. Guard that window. Man, that one windstorm we had here, they were like impaled into the ground, like these logs.
I get those all the time in my backyard.
Yeah.
I got 2 crappy gumball trees back there.
Yeah.
And one of them grows really well, so well that it gets enough gumballs out on the limb,
Uh-huh.
and you'll hear it, and then you'll see it, and it takes, like an upper limb will come down, and it takes a whole bunch of branches out as it breaks.
That's how we used to have. There used to be 3 trees there, 3 pine trees in front of the house, and that's why we got a new roof. One of the pine trees during the storm just plotted itself right on top of that. So he cut all the other 2 are dead. So
We cut them
and
down.
actually, that's what firewood. Some of the firewood is. Yeah, so it's kind of weird looking up there. You don't see those 3 big pine trees that've been here forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the farm's changed through the years, just like everything else.
Yeah.
And there was you said there was some movies filmed here, or Veep, the TV show. That's
TV
what
show.
it was.
Then they used to have reenactors come here for the Civil War. Before some of these houses here, they let them use one of the fields and do their
Reenactment.
reenactment. Yeah.
We were talking about that on the way here. I was like, I'm betting that some reenactors will be interested in this podcast just because of it.
Yeah, those dudes are legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
They're into it.
Yeah.
Dude, I got.
He's got another
I
story.
got a story. This is about reenactors, man. See, I've been around a little bit. No, so I had a kid, Tim. We used to do a ghost hunting at Gettysburg.
Mm-hmm.
Never seen them, but it was still exciting, man. Gettysburg, dark, and everyone, what's that? So one of my buddies came up and visited me from New York when I was living up in Woodstock, and I said, "Come on, let's go at night." Him and his girlfriend, we're gonna go in this cornfield. They said that all these there's gonna be, and they say if you smell pipe tobacco or smoke, there's a ghost around, right? So we're so crazy, man. We're in this little field and we could smell tobacco, and I'm like, dude, this is for real, man. This is for real, Jimmy, man. We got a ghost here. We're going to cell phones, and it was reenactor time. We're like, man, this dude, I can't believe this. And we're all excited. His girlfriend's all into it. We're like, oh man, this is great. I can't believe it. We're all high-fiving each other. All of a sudden, in the corner of my eye, I see the cell phone go like this. This dude is in a reenactment suit, smoking a cigarette behind us, leaning up against the monument. So we couldn't see him because we were facing this way. Totally ruined the whole vibe. We thought for sure, we were like, man, we got ghosts, man. We got him. Man.
He pulls up his cell phone.
Pulls up his cell phone to get on his cell phone while he's smoking a cigarette. I go, how ironic is that, man? But it's crazy, man, because you don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, my buddy's got pictures out there of supposed figures.
Like orbs and
Yeah.
light flashes. There's all kinds of... I mean, I've never been to those fields at night, but I imagine it could be kind
of creepy,
eerie,
because it's in your head already.
Yeah.
You think of all the people that died there and everything, you know what I mean? And just kind of, how they died, you know what I mean? They're laying out there and just kind of, then you're going back into the woods, you know what I mean? And now you're on this trail where there was some big, massive fight. I mean, of course, your senses are all going to be all heightened.
Yeah. Antietam, right? It's the bloodiest battle.
Antietam. Love it there. Love it there. It's one of my favorite battlefields.
And they say that the grass was just red with blood. I don't know how many people.
That one corner.
Actually.
You ever been there, Tatum? That one corner is where the short day around both sides are shooting, just wiping each other out. And they just kept piling up.
I'm looking it up. How many people?
I don't know how you convince human beings to do that to each other.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom it nowadays. I know it happened, but it's just really like the number of dead.
Yeah.
And for what?
Damn. The total number of casualties on both sides reached 22,720.
Wow.
It's a lot of damn people. September 17th,
Especially
1862.
back then.
Yeah.
Brother versus brother.
Yeah.
My dad had my dad collected weird shit. He had a bullet that was like the kind of bullet that the North used and the kind of bullet that the South used. And they hit each other. So it's like both sides of the bullet in one mass.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. They're rare, but I'm sure if you go out to the museums in Gettysburg and stuff, they have them.
That was another thing about hiking out here. There is battlefields up in the mountains out there of actual and like South Mountain there was a huge battle there. There's actually a grave, a battle, like Arlington version, small though, of the soldiers that died there on the mountain. And you can go through the trail, and it'll tell you, break it down. You know, more, this is where this was. This is where this was, and it's kind of cool to see that. You know, what I mean, it kind of puts it in reality. You know, what I mean, it's like they were fighting everywhere. Didn't matter. You were fighting everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Indians are off in the trees going, what the fuck are these crazy guys doing? They're just like getting out in the middle of the field and just like mowing each other down.
Yeah.
How is that fighting?
There's nobody buried on this property, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah?
There's a gravestone up on top by the reservoir.
Didn't you tell me that there's a whole bunch of people buried under the tennis courts?
That's what.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear the story again.
As far as I was talking to Garnett's wife, who passed away a few years ago, we were exchanging notes because we had some. Well, we're getting at ghost things too. Because now we're talking my language. So there was something that happened in the house when the lady, God, I can't think of her name. The Hackney daughter passed away. Something freaky happened in there, and so I was telling her, and she's like, "Oh yeah," and then we got into the Civil War stuff. And she said, I think that where the tennis courts are is where they buried the soldiers that passed her. There's no document. It's just a hearsay right now. But she thinks that's where, not because of the tennis court, but that's where they buried them when they passed. Because what were they going to do with them? There's nowhere else to put them if they die here.
Yeah, and there's no way to transport them.
Yeah.
They just decay on the way there anyway.
Yeah.
So this is the tennis court. So the rumor is?
The rumor is, from Scarlett told me, from what she heard, that this being a pass-through for the Civil War, both sides were here, that was a field hospital part of that, that some of them had passed away and they were buried in this general vicinity.
Wow.
Yeah, and the rumor too is, well, actually I've seen it, there's a behind a fireplace, there's like a closet, and depending on who was in there, what side was in there, and who was passing through, they would hide the injured behind that fireplace in the closet, and no one would see him. And there was a skirmish on here. You could look that up. I don't remember who it was, but when both sides were leaving, they caught in one of these fields down here and had a little skirmish. And then Garnett told me back in the day when it was still before all these houses here, they would get reenactors here and pitch their tent and do their battle until they developed the rest of this property. Heck, Kenny Rogers was even here.
Kenny Rogers was here?
Yeah.
What was he doing here?
Just passing by, man. Whoever was here before, they were kind of well-to-do, so they'd have all the people from the area. Whoever was in playing music would always swing by. I wish Scarlett was alive because she knew all the people that was here. She gave me this whole. Garnett would know too, but yeah, a lot of famous people have been here. I mean, I have not seen a ghost here. Maybe if there is, haven't seen any of that. A little spooky at first when I moved here because when you don't know the property, you know what I mean? Because it does get a little dark on by those barns at night. So if you're not used to it, And then for a while down at the creek when I was fishing, when I got the 2 dusks for me, the hairs on the back of my neck would stand up at first.
Yeah.
But
Probably you're new here and the ghosts are checking out and they're all swarming around you and you're like, you can't see them, but
oh, I'm sure there's something here.
they're making you, now you're a resident and they're like, oh, he belongs here.
Yeah.
Interdimensional.
That's just right.
Yeah. Since he's been here long enough, man. He's one of us. He's just living. No, I've asked Garnet. He said there's people that lived here and said they've seen stuff or felt stuff, but as far as that one crazy thing in there, I've never had a.
Maybe you just need a little help.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, maybe it's just good.
I'm good. I messed with the Ouija board when I was little. I'm good. I've learned my lesson. They can stay right where they're at. They belong where they're at.
I messed with the Ouija board when I was younger too.
I've always been amazed that parents let kids play with Ouija boards.
Because they didn't think about it.
No.
You know that was.
They must not have thought about it because, yeah, why would you do that?
You know it was developed here in Maryland, right?
No, I did not know
Yeah.
that. You got another story for us?
The developer of Ouija is from Maryland.
Yeah, he's buried in Greenmount Cemetery.
Yeah. And his gravestone's on the Ouija board.
You guys know a lot more about this than I do.
Yeah.
I did a speech in speech class in college, all about the Ouija board.
Of course you did.
But I got set up because...
Set up?
Well, the girl who went before me on my speech told this, like, crazy fucking story about when she was working at a deli and got robbed at gunpoint at her parents' deli.
Mm-hmm. Set up in a good way.
Well, no, it was a tough act to follow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, she's like, I was working at the deli, and then I heard a voice say, hey, what's up? And I looked up, and my whole life changed forever. And my dumbass, I wasn't even really, like, thinking or anything, but I got up to give my speech, and I was started out with, hey, what's up? And, like, her just, like, stared at me. And I'm like, I didn't mean it like that. But then I went on and gave my Ouija board speech. It was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can't remember. It was made in like the 50s, right? I mean, the Parker Brothers version. I feel like that was like standard issue in American houses, like back in the day. Like everybody had a fucking Ouija board.
Yeah. Bad things with that.
Did you grow up with one in the house?
I think when we would go over and visit this person, I believe you, like every house had one.
Yeah.
I think, playing with scary stuff was just part of childhood when we were kids.
Yeah.
We all survived the lawn charts, so we're pretty...
It taught you valuable lessons.
Yeah, yeah.
I think making stuff like that illegal is, like, really silly.
Yeah. No, but going back to that Ouija, man, it wasn't a game.
Ouija, it's just a game, isn't it? Isn't it?
Isn't it?
Parker Brothers kind of fun.
You just had to be careful with it. It was definitely some crazy things could come out of that.
Yeah, you're never...
Sounds to me like you believe in angels and demons.
Mm-hmm. Ghosts, too.
You're never supposed to play with a Ouija board alone.
No.
Right?
And you're supposed to pray in the beginning, at the end.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I read this book called This Present Darkness. I forget the author's name. I think it was Frank something or another. But, they have these two abnormally large individuals walking through the streets, and they're walking up to this church. And they're angels, right? And they're going into the church, and there's this... This is like the beginning of the book. But there's demons going around the town too, and they're affecting people. People who are open to suggestion. It just really kind of opened my eyes. This is my 20s. I think there is a lot to be said for other forces going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely forces out there, man.
I think there's a lot of people that are really just allow themselves to be used by other energy that's,
Worked with a guy that said he could see, because he trained in overseas martial arts. And he was and he meditated a lot, that he was intuitive to seeing things that we can't see from the spirits world.
We got a friend like that. It's not quite like that, but Roger Gagan, Mr. Energy.
Yeah, our friend Roger is like very in tune with the energy of everything, to the point where if you're selecting a can of beans off of the shelf at the grocery store, he can like feel the energy of it.
Really?
And he'll say, no, get these. And, and then I'm like, all right, I trust it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have a more major decision, Roger's always a good guy to ask.
Right.
I'm like, Roger, I'm thinking about,
He definitely gives you a perspective that you're not thinking about.
Yeah.
It's like big decisions you want to make with your heart, not with your frickin' head.
Yeah, I haven't heard that, but I kind of like that.
Well,
big decisions make with your heart, not with your head.
Yeah.
If you want to minimize your adventure in life, make all your decisions with your head. That might be risky. No, risk and unknown are not the same thing.
Right.
Well,
you can just overthink the hell out of stuff. And like sometimes your heart knows, right?
I think that's probably the biggest problem with the world nowadays is everybody's so risk averse.
Yeah.
They want comfort and safety. And that's not what life is about.
No risk, no reward.
One of the most rewarding things I've ever done was climbing that mountain.
Yeah.
And we did it properly. We had guides, and I did something that I would be like, this is crazy. My brother even said, that's pretty high up. The air's really thin at that height. Are you sure about this? I'm like, and I looked it up, and then I mentioned it to Jacob, and Jacob's like, yeah, that's pretty high up, man. So, and you do it, like I said, the day before, 2 days before, we were down in Lone Pine my buddy, we fly into Vegas, and then we take a car, and he's got me driving the car through Death Valley in the middle of the night. So you can't see into the beautiful view of it, but it's 110 out, and it's pitch black, and you're driving down this road, and there's these areas where there's been a flash flood, and it was dry at the time, but we didn't know it wasn't going to rain that night. And you're in the middle of nowhere, and you're like, I sure as hell hope this car doesn't break down while we're here, because that would be bad. That would be bad.
What would you even do? I mean,
you stay in a car. Because you're not hiking out of there.
And just hope somebody comes by?
Anything else is just stupid.
Yeah.
You stay with the car. You're on a road. Walking out of there is not an option.
Shit. That's a good point.
And yet we got some crazy people. There's this race to the top of Mount Whitney where they go down into Death Valley and they run up to the top of Mount Whitney from Death Valley. Death Valley's below sea level. It's like 110 there, and then all of a sudden they're craziness.
It's like a big gully?
Right back to the beginning.
Yep. Fern gully.
Should we take a break?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We are at 1 hour, 34 minutes. Well done, gentlemen.
All right.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was definitely eclectic.
Yeah, that was awesome. You got good stories, right?